Cohasset Township regular monthly meeting, July 21st, 2015. Testing. Cohasset testing. Cohasset testing.
So what happened to the water main?
All right. All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Express Times and Star Gazette, satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a silent prayer and flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, Wanda, can we take these minutes together? Wanda, can we take these minutes together?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Does anyone have an issue with taking all these minutes together?
I'll move it.
Second it.
Okay, Becker?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Van Loo?
Mary.
Councilwoman Van Loo, 1 minute?
Minutes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Vangeli?
Here.
Are you okay with minutes? Approving the minutes?
Yes. Yes. Okay, motion to pay bills presented in proper form, signed by the director of each department and approved by the majority of the members listed on the bill list.
I'll move it.
There's a second.
I'll second it. I know my bills are paid.
Okay, motion and a second.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
No, it's okay.
Okay, look, who seconded the bills?
Mary.
Okay, Becker?
Yes.
Black? Van Loo?
Yes.
Vangeli?
Yes.
Turn.
Yes. Okay, public comment pertaining to agenda items only. Any public comment on any agenda items?
Kevin Melvin, Winters Road. Just real quickly, on the motions for this evening, I see a motion for the proposal for Hire Gruhl and Associates for the housing element and fair plan share. Did we also already, or perhaps need a motion with regard to requesting that funding from Highlands?
I think we would send this to Highlands and, once we approve a contract with them or something, see if we can get reimbursement. I think there's like $7,800 out there, something like that. So I don't think we need a motion for that, but we should, whatever we do, we should send to them and say, hey, we're starting this process. Can we have reimbursement?
Susan came to the land use board and said that money was out there.
Right. I know.
I wouldn't limit it to 7. I would just say.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we have this proposal, we'll send it down and try to get it all.
Thank you. Any other public comment on agenda items? All right, see now we'll go to the attorney's report.
I'm going to circulate a written report tonight. Just real quick going down the list. The PBA arbitration has been over, but and for at least 2 or 3 months, I think, at this point, a couple months at least. But I did just receive in my office an invoice from the arbitrator that had a cancellation fee of $1,000, so our share would be $500 of that. So I just gave that to Wanda this evening, and it's just going to have to be paid. The police contract, again, I just know, their contract is up at the end of December, so technically 120 days beforehand, we should be getting them some type of draft. I had circulated a draft, so just again, that's a reminder. And again, the other thing I just throw on this report, if you want me to help work on it, fine, or if you want to get our TBO or labor attorney involved, fine, or if you want to, whatever you want to do on that. In that regard, we just keep moving. DPW mediation, that's ongoing, I guess. I'll leave that to Frank or Dave to comment on.
Talk about that in executive session.
TCI, I have actually brought settlement documents here this evening. We finally, after 6 or 8 weeks of going back and forth and around, have a settlement agreement that I can live with, that TCI can live with. and that our architect can live with. So I can discuss that with the executive. And the numbers haven't changed, the scope of work hasn't changed, it was just all language back and forth with their attorney. So if you can go over that in executive briefly and potentially take action on that tonight. The affordable housing complaint, since our last meeting, that has been filed, so we are protected. There's an extensive service list that the Supreme Court requires, and that also our Region 2 list and our local list. So there's probably 40 people, 40 different entities I'll have to serve that complaint upon. That's going out. Wanda did send me the executed intermunicipal agreement for the expert and the $2,000 check I got from Lorraine. That has gone down to the attorney. So we are now part of that shared defense agreement for Dr. Burchell. And I did see an email coming through. There's quite a few municipalities that are participating there. So it's possible we even get a little bit of that 2,000 back. Because I think there's probably over 100 municipalities now that have joined in on that.
Oh.
Shared services agreement, there's just a resolution on the agenda to memorialize that. Once we take action on that, we can shift the resolution down to AOC. Tax appeals, there's a couple tax appeals pending, nothing going on there. Still Valley Stone Arch, Wanda sent the executed easement to Corey down at the county, and once they record it, I guess I'll send this back to Todd. Which is Wanda's litigation. Again, we have counsel here, I think, somewhere. Maybe. Yep, we do. We had counsel discuss that. We got to her. The railroad, since our last meeting, they withdrew their application before the County Agricultural Development Board, initiated mediation with SABC. Although I believe I saw some correspondence about an amended application for commercial farm status, which I assume includes the quarry. So that's kind of the work in progress. But there is nothing pending at this point in front of the Agricultural Development Board they withdrew. The complaint with respect to the Land Use Board and the interpretation of their contract with the board secretary, that's been filed, that's been served. You have the ordinance for the excessive police calls. On that ordinance, by the way, guys, I just created a new chapter that generically police services reimbursement, because I didn't know the chief and not getting caught at some point. Some townships have ordinances with regard to off-duty policing and things like that. We don't have anything like that.
No.
And if our guys have any interest in doing some of that, I was thinking that we could have one chapter where we could put things like that. And we have some samples, so
Okay.
give me a call if you guys have any interest in that. I think it's a good idea to have
I'll give you a call.
in place so you have some guidance on that.
Right.
I can see some of the guys wanting to do that. So the ordinance deals with shoplifting, excessive shoplifting calls. I also did speak today, finally, with the attorney from Deptford.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of similar to us. They have a bigger mall. I'd say their mall is a little bigger regional mall with the Macy's and so on and so forth. But they have a couple Walmarts. So they were getting, well over 100 calls a month just from a single Walmart store. They had a little business luncheon where they circulated this ordinance. They said, what the intention was. They adopted it. Since their adoption, they have not gotten in excess of 15 calls from anybody. So, from a practical standpoint, it has worked. They also haven't gotten, he said he hasn't really gotten any blowback from the business community. So, it's a practical effect.
Has it worked, or is it just they're not calling anymore when somebody should be arrested?
Well,
I think they're not utilizing the interpretation I got from their attorney was they're no longer using the police department superfluously just to show up and kind of
As
look at
loss
somebody being
prevention.
suspicious and then making an arrest, and more importantly, not showing up and putting their money where their mouth is. That's
Yeah.
what the ordinance is all about. It's not that we have a problem if somebody pursues a shoplifting charge, but don't then not show up for court. We wasted all those resources, and the case just gets thrown out. He said it has worked.
Is the numbers that we're using in that ordinance, they're realistic in terms of what our case is?
I think I just saw it just before I came over, and I think it said 15 a month.
That's per entity,
That's probably what we average with Walmart, between probably 10, 12, 15, depending on what month it is.
now where'd the fee come from? Did that come from the Deptford ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys are free to revise that. We can talk about that at first reading when we get to is there on the ordinance.
Okay.
Is that, it said there was a 15 number and there was a 2 number, 2 for
That's over.
places where you don't show up to prosecute it.
Right.
Is that and or?
I'm trying to see what the section of the ordinance is.
It's,
Either
penalties.
Oh, where?
15 or 2, or is it?
No, yes, it's or, it's either or. So if they have more than 15 calls, there's the 16th one would invoke a fee. Or if they have more than two where they don't show up, waste our time. You know,
Where the security doesn't show up to prosecute.
Right.
The third would. Okay.
So we have that on the agenda, and the volunteer ordinance, we did amend, we put a cap on that at $300 per permit and $500 annually. Wanda was just asking me whether that would apply to the bond for a peddler's permit. And a bond is not a permit, so it would not, in my view, cover that. If we wanted to extend it that far, we would have to.
Like, they would still have to comply with the background check,
Right.
post the bond, I would think for this.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You
Just
don't,
wanted to make sure.
And we do have the no call, the no disturb list on a different ordinance for the peddlers as well. So that's the second reading. And I think that pretty much covers the work between last month and this time.
excellent. And like you said, those numbers are able to be changed at first reading
Oh, yeah.
to our suit. Okay.
Oh, you mean on the
For the,
excessive-
for the
Yes.
police
I mean,
costs. Okay.
Again, it can be tabled to next month. I know that was something I really
No,
wanted to speak with him. And I asked him flat out, I said, did you have concerns with regard to, did any commercial taxpayer raise the issue, hey, we're already paying for police, this is illegal, et cetera, et cetera. He said he didn't really get any of that kind of blowback, and it has been practically effective. So,
That's the goal. Okay. Excellent. All right, does anyone have any other questions for Kevin? I think let's do the engineer's report, and then we'll go into a brief executive session while we have council here. So Gwen, if you'd like to.
Yeah, I have just a short report. We had the bid opening for Middle Street, the section between Pershing and Scheimer. We got a real good price from ABE Parking Lot Striping, $7,958.10. So there's a motion on to award that.
yeah, Gwen always sends me that stuff, and it was fine. The one question was they didn't have their certificate of employee information report, which is basically their affirmative action compliance. But if you look at the rule, they filed for it, so as long as they filed, we're okay. So that bid is good to go.
Good.
Gwen, that's only for one section, and there's 3 we need to do, correct?
Yes.
And this is probably the largest section?
Yes.
So theoretically, the other 2 should be less in amount or not, when we get to them?
Yeah. Yeah. If you do them individually, they'd be less than that. Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. Jeff had talked to me about that already. I believe he has the DGA already on order.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah, this price was almost, if we used the bid price of last year, this was almost half of it. And the job is a lot longer. So this was a good deal here.
When did Mr. Gersey say when they could start construction on it or not?
I didn't ask him that because it hasn't been awarded yet. So I didn't talk to him about that. I did send Wanda, though, a contract that you could use to execute with them.
Lump sum.
Standard one. Yeah. And Foch Boulevard, we had the bid opening on that, which was very easy because we had one bidder. Top Line Construction, again, we got a good price, $151,732.10. I did send the bid documents to Kevin. I didn't know if you got the chance to review them.
I hadn't, but if you want to make a conditional award tonight, that's fine. I'll double check them.
Yeah. Kevin.
When would they start work on that, Gwen?
Yeah, that was my question. When did they-
Well, typically for a job like this, they have, the first step is we have to send them a notice of award. And I have to send something to the DOT also to have them approve it. Then the contractor has X number of days to get me their insurance certificate and the performance bond. And they sign the contract at that time, and then we get the contract, and then we sign it and send it back to them. They have 40 days to start after that.
We have a time frame on our contract, or we going to put time frame on it?
Yeah, 30 days.
But I'm as far as finish construction this year, or?
Oh, yeah. They have to start within 40 days. It's definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I usually figure from the time we have our meeting here and award it, you're a month before all the paperwork goes back and forth, and they get to start. So we're probably talking September.
They have to do any milling on up there or not?
Yeah, milling at all the intersections, and we have some other areas we're going to mill, and also do some full depth patching, and we have some fabric going in, and then overlay.
Make sure the milling people come back here. We'll have to pay to have that on site.
And let's see, Still Valley Arch, I had mentioned at the last meeting that I had spoken to Master Locators, a company that does these vacuum cores. They sent us a contract, and Wanda has that on the agenda also for tonight to award. It's $2,000 a day, and they just maxed it out at $5,000. So if we can find our information out, the sooner we find it out, then we just stop working. And the only other thing is the wastewater management plan. They sent us Highlands people sent us a copy that they had incorporated the comments that the land use board had made, that Gene Weber sent to them. And it looks like they addressed all of them. They included Mrs. Homa's properties as requested. There is just one, and I did send this to you, Kevin, but just a reminder, I think I sent it on the 7th, just so you can go back to your emails. They're looking for input from you as far as how to word that 20,000 gallon discrepancy.
I saw that. And I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, if you recall, we just went around with the DEP on that 20,000 gallons because the amendment that was PACCON, and because we were adjacent to them, they sent us a consent form. And we conditionally consented because remember we looked at their amendment, and it was like an asterisk footnote about 20,000 gallons not being ours.
Yeah.
And we conditionally consented to their amendment, but the DEP provided that it was clarified that that is ours. And we never heard from DEP, and they got their approval. So, I mean, we have a contract with the plant, and that's who owns the capacity that allocates that to us. In your office, and Gene, I think, when he was there, dug up the old agreements that conveyed it. So, I mean, I think legally.
And it says specifically that that it's 520 and 540 with the 20,000 gallons. So ours specifically has that in.
Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll get those documents together, form the Highlands, and say it's our position is 540. And when we do that, I'm going to put Phillipsburg and PACCON on notice as well.
Okay.
As we've done in the past, and just leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just go for a comment? I know Mrs. Homa has been calling me on a weekly basis.
She can't get the sewer extended there to that amendment. That's
Right,
the
and she
problem.
wants it done. Get it done now. What
It's
are
like-
they doing?
Can she start work in anticipation of it being approved?
The DEP, she had to pull back her application with the DEP because it can only sit there for so long before it's considered an invalid application. So she pulled it back. She's waiting for council to get this taken care of. So I just wanted to tell you, you have some fire under your feet.
Yeah, I will take care of directing a letter to Highlands and copy them. In fact, I'll send you a draft tomorrow.
Okay.
And I have all the old documents you guys sent me.
Okay.
And, but that wastewater management plan process has been going on for 2 years. And to be honest with you, and I hate to say this from Mrs. Homa's standpoint, because I understand her urgency, we could be filling out this for 2 more years. I can tell you, there doesn't seem to be any.
Please don't tell her that.
There doesn't seem to be any urgency on the part of the Highlands or the
I
state.
think they're getting political pressure now, so I think that is the urgency.
Oh, good.
Because she did jump on it.
Did she?
The Highlands woman.
All right, well, I will do our part tomorrow.
Now, what if we were just to proceed with those numbers anyway? Like,
Well, that's going to be our position, that the 540.
So then why don't we just, for the August meeting, include those numbers in our wastewater management plan?
And there's two other ordinances that have to be
Yeah.
adopted along with that.
There's the Highlands checklist and
Which the-
Highlands exemption, which the land
They
use
just
board, I think,
passed.
is working on.
Oh, I think they passed it.
Yeah, but I think when we didn't say they voted on it, they passed it, and I think there was like, we have a resolution done at the next meeting, or the next quarter.
There we go. So we could do it in
So,
August.
yeah, in August, yeah.
And if we, if they have the wastewater management plan done, we can get that on too at that time. And I think that comes directly to us. I don't think that goes to the land use board.
No, I don't think the wastewater.
That will come right
management
here
plan does, but
anyway.
The other part does.
So I mean, we maybe we'll get lucky and get everything on the agenda for next month.
Yes.
But I'll get that letter out tomorrow.
Is that all, Gwen?
That's it for me.
Real quick, with Foch Boulevard, are you going to let the businesses there know?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know like Weicker and the Karate, I don't know how they're gonna, I don't know how else you can get to those.
Well,
I guess if you do one side at a
yeah,
time.
they're used to working around and keeping access to properties
Okay.
open. It is going to be hard in some areas, and they may have to park in the street while they're doing something right in front of the driveway cut or something
Okay.
for a day or an afternoon.
Make sure my brother doesn't give him a hard time.
He already came out and talked to me. I think my front tires only were on the road and he was out the door.
And real quick, Gwen, with I know I sent this to you like 2 months ago, but with Still Valley, not Still Valley, Silver Hill, what is procedurally moving forward, if anything, we can do? Like have them, are there guidelines that you can send them that we would want it to be?
Well,
It's on
at
that
this
road.
Yeah.
point
It's
in
on that
time,
public road.
it needs to be constructed in accordance with the residential site improvement standards that you've probably heard talked about at the land use board. It's a state document, and that's how residential subdivision streets are supposed to be built. And that road does not have adequate drainage. It doesn't look like it has a surface course on it. It looks like it was a base course. I wasn't there to witness it. I didn't see the material slips. It didn't look like a surface course that you would use on it. It's got a pretty steep grade. It's narrow. There was issues way back about fire trucks being able to turn around and fire trucks being able to pull off point to set a truck and then move like a staging area to move forward then. So there's a lot of issues to go with
It's
it.
major dollars to
It is
do it.
major dollars.
What's the question? Did I miss something?
Do the fire trucks, but they would
Septic
still
and
have
road.
to go, the fire trucks still have to go up there regardless though,
Well,
right?
what they did was they did widen the road a little bit, and they did something that the fire trucks would be able to access it, because that was an issue.
Well, now when they paved it, they didn't pave the circular area at the end. They just kind of paved it straight, Mary, instead of allowing for that kind of a cul-de-sac effect.
So they would have to have a licensed engineer oversee the project to the town's liking, and then we'd be able to accept that project in that way. Is that
Well,
the,
it's not
I mean,
our
legally
project,
speaking,
it's
you
their
could-
project.
You don't have to accept it. It's not.
It's not our project, it's their project.
Legally, you can accept the road tomorrow. I think what.
Yeah.
You can accept substandard road, but then you're inheriting their headache. So that's
Yeah.
what-
And we don't have the money
Yeah,
to
and
do
you shouldn't
that.
have-
Alone, I'll bet
I mean-
$50,000, don't you think, Glenn?
Oh, are you kidding me? Foch was,
I mean, I've been up there, it's like you said, there's nothing
yeah,
there.
200,000 for Foch. This is a lot.
I mean, it's a 30%.
I've been up that road.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know people.
And I guarantee you that if you do that, Manor Road.
oh yeah, I know. Between the two of
Yeah,
them.
we don't have the money to be building new roads.
No, I'm just trying to get a procedure for them.
Well, yeah, I think we
We
should.
should, because they're not ready.
Yeah, I think we can plow in the same way with Manor Road.
It's a courtesy, though.
As a courtesy.
It's
road.
a courtesy.
Yeah, that's a good
And
idea though,
actually,
because otherwise we'd have to reimburse anyway.
Well, what we did was we also put some, when they, billings
Okay.
on the road. I remember, because that was the issue, because we had done that, as a favor to the people living there, then they insisted then that we should snowplow also. So that's, we're talking what happened like, 2015?
I mean, the only
I
way
don't have a
15
problem with
years
snowplowing
ago.
private roads, otherwise we have to reimburse them for our estimated cost to do so anyway, but now. by
I mean,
statute-
in a development, Jim, it's no different than when you accept the road in the development. The road has to be up to current standard
Right.
before you accept responsibility for it.
No, I was just trying to see what they would have to do, and it sounds like it's a significant.
Mhm. That's why they've been private all this time.
Yeah, and I think they paid
Wow,
part of
my
it,
drive.
if I recall, I think I sent some pictures along with.
Yeah, you did.
And they paved a portion of the road, but the older part of the road that had been paved is shot, all alligator crack, and, would need to be redone.
Okay. All right. All right, let's have a brief executive session for this this potential litigation or current litigation. Would that be accurate? Action may or may not be taken. What do you say for about?
Should be short, 15 minutes. I don't think Leslie, I don't think you need a lot of time with us, do you? 15, 20 minutes, no?
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion for that?
I'll move, we go into executive session, or is it litigation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Want me to do this real quick?
Yes. Yeah.
Barry, say yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
But there's no necessary, like,
No, I had
Sal.
issues with somebody.
Yes.
I'm calling.
Executive session.
And current.
Yes.
it's got to be.
All right, do I have a motion to come back to regular session?
I will move that.
Second.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Okay. We're going to go on to council reports.
Start with me?
Yeah, sorry, Frank.
Per usual. With respect to the Historic Commission, we met on June 24th. We're due to meet again tomorrow night. There was a cleanup this past weekend. I heard that there was almost 24 volunteers, including the mayor. And they are seeking $57,000 in grants for the roof, the windows, and doors of the Scheimer Mansion. And there's going to be a Scheimer Mansion grant site visit by people who would be involved in approving the grant on August 29th at 2:30. And if people can be there to show support, I think that'd be helpful in getting the grant. I think there's also going to be a formal presentation on the grant on September 14th. That's to the Warren County Municipal and Charitable Conservancy. The house tour this year is October 17th, and somehow in the house tour they're going to have reference to the Scheimer Manor project and fundraising for it. At the last meeting, there was concern expressed about the lack of a link to the website, their PHHS website, and I think we're going to be working on getting that link established after speaking with the mayor today, earlier. There's some issue about taxes we've talked about before that I don't know if there's a way we can help them before 2016 with respect to taxes. There's also a question about sewer. Speaking with Kerry, I think they need to pay the $50 flat fee on the sewer even if they're not using any water, which there's other cases like that. For example, in the Shimer schools. We have to pay the $50 per quarter flat fee, even though we're not using much water. With respect to the CFO, Lorraine prepared a user-friendly budget. I think we're looking into websites. I guess Lorraine met with Jeff Jewell, a vendor of websites, and who prepared 3 proposals, and I kind of deferred to the mayor since he is more adept at this stuff than I am as far as whether we should do it. I think we need to do something. We were paying dirt cheap and we're getting dirt poor, basically, as far as emails are concerned.
This will address the problems with the email, hopefully, that we can correspond back and forth where, we've been limited at this time.
Yes, that's the purpose of changing it.
Emails anyway?
No, it's just emails. I think I misspoke when I said website.
Can I have copies of those proposals for my files?
Yeah, I think you have it in your email. Mayor, I mean, if you want to address that in a little bit, what you think, that'd be good. I think that's all I have with respect to my regular comments. Wanda, when is the petitions due for nominations? August 31st. I wanted to highlight that that petitions are due August 31st for vacancies. The mayor, his term is up, and my term is up at the end of this year. When I ran for office, I promised to try to improve transparency, efficiency, and accountability. I think with fellow council members here, I think we have improved transparency, efficiency, and accountability. There's still more to do. I've done my best in the last 2.5 years and will continue to do my best working for the township residents for the remainder of my term. I'm not running for re-election in November. I'm announcing this now so that anyone who does want to run and perhaps did not want to run against me will have the time to submit by the end of August the required paperwork and petitions. I want to thank the people, many of whom are here, who voted for me and who supported me, and there's many others that aren't here who did the same. And I want to thank them specifically for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to serve this town. Thank you. End of my report.
Well, I kind of took the air out of my sails there. Let me think for a little bit. Dave, if you'd like to.
We did not have an environmental meeting this month. We take off for July and August. Maybe, Rennie, do you want to say anything towards the community garden as far as how it's going? Or
Yeah, the community garden is going very well. Everything's like growing in leaps and bounds. People are harvesting all the vegetables right now. We do have pumpkins that are just now, the blooms are starting to come out, so they got a ways to go. But it's done very well with the water, with the rain and everything. We haven't had a lack of water. And when we did have a lack of water, the water was filled.
fire department took care of that, correct, Pete? Took care of that? Right.
But yeah, everybody has been very diligent and up there on a good time and getting out continually the text messages, pictures, of we've got cameras up there right now that are just about ready for them, that are just about ready. Not water on the camera.
Do you feel potentially next year you could grow again in size as far as the people that are interested?
There's a lot of people that are looking to
Good. Good. So we're headed, in a good direction. as far as that's about.
That would be a good problem.
Definitely. As far as any other environmental issues, nothing at this time, Mayor. As we spoke earlier, as far as our Department of Public Works, I'm going to have the crews address the roads in the township as far as potholes. We've had discussions back and forth. Which roads need attention? I've had some concerns from residents on these roads, so as soon as Mr. Lovitz gets back from vacation, we will address those issues. We talked about the grant for Foch and how that's moving along, and along with the other road up there that we're going to address in 3 different stages. I was glad to see that bid come in at a fairly reasonable number. That'll help stretch our road budget, or the allowance in our road budget. And that's really it for the DPW. The Land Use Board, we met last week. I was excused from the executive session for obvious reasons, for the litigation that's going on there. The meeting itself was not very lengthy. We discussed the COA at length with the planner and what we need to dare to address with the new laws that are coming through. And Kevin, you spoke on that before at the meetings. And I think it's a good thing that we did sign up with that class action. I guess you would almost say that's a suit or a class action.
And I actually had heard, now that the Supreme Court took everything away from COA, they don't quite know what to do with it. And I've heard they've had meetings with the various, there's about 17 or 18, I think, assigned judges that are supposed to kind of special master these things. And, they've been bouncing around having mini trials with Rochelle being an expert,
Right.
and the fair share housing expert.
And I think the planner said there actually was one case already that was heard somewhere, in one of the, I think Middlesex.
Some townships, I think they're having a couple counterclaims, and like Fair Share Housing Center, I think, has filed some of them. They're trying to take the position that townships should already have come up with numbers, which is patently ludicrous, contrary to the Supreme Court's decision anyway. But the point is that I think it is a good move to get on board with a highly recognized expert on the ground floor, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, and again, in relation to our planners, not to exceed 12,000 applications. Again, it's going to be by the hour, so it may not get there. There may be grant money available, but we will need her as well. So I think it's a good idea to do both those things. Not that you'll be spending a lot of that money immediately, or even maybe you won't get close to spending 12,000. It's a not to exceed amount. But then we'll have our ducks in order, and as the ground settles under what we're going to have to do, we can spend our money wisely. To run around now with a chicken with a head cut off is pointless.
I think it's prudent to be proactive to a point,
Yeah.
like you're saying, not
Exactly.
to.
Or hurry up and go slow.
Right. Well, I agree that we should be proactive to a point, but until they really determine where this is headed, we could just be throwing money out the window.
I have every expectation that 5-month window that plan is going to turn into 15 months.
I would tend to.
It's just the way it's going to be. So,
What bothers me is the numbers that
numbers are
party-
crazy.
was
250, I think, for this
Yeah,
township.
and like we talked with the planner, the mayor and I spoke with her, where are we going to put it? We have limited amount of developable property as far as us being in the Highlands Preservation Area. The part that's left is, there's no way.
My impression of that number is that they purely looked at vacant land without taking into account at all whether the land was subject to preservation already, whether it was in the preservation area of the Highlands, or any of those factors, which Rochelle, the expert we hired, actually used to work for Keller. He developed the gross share numbers that we had last time, and I think our number then was like about 60. It's 240 now, according to this.
Right.
Again, that's not the state hasn't said that. That's just this advocacy group. But I think Rochelle actually did go through on a township by township basis and say, okay, here's vacant land, but this has been, development rights been sold here, so that's out, that's out, that's out. Well, this whole part of the township's preservation area, and all that was factored in. And I think when that gets factored back in for Cohacon and other townships, I think our number will go south dramatically again. But, it's unfortunately, as you guys all learned, you have to spend money in litigation to prove what should be obvious, but that's where we're going to be.
Well, and the whole boogeyman of the Highlands Act
Yeah.
was that would reduce your COA numbers.
Right. And as Kevin pointed out, and I think it's a great idea, you should get Susan Gould's proposal down. We should get the Burchell agreement that we signed up for. We'll send both of those down and whatever grant monies we can get, because we fully opted in. We should have priority on funding from Highlands.
Right, you would think so.
I would think so.
I remember when the meeting with the
We're supposed to
Highlands
get
person.
super extra protection.
Right,
So we'll see if that happens.
Other than that, on the land use board, that was pretty much the extent of what I was present for. So other than that, Jimmy, I don't have a whole lot more other than that.
Thank you, Dave. Mary?
Hey, see now where did I put it? Oh, there we go. It's been a whole month. So the police department, as usual, has been very busy. They responded to 516 calls for service. They issued 231 traffic summonses, and they did make 31 arrests. The criminal investigation unit opened 30 new cases. The police department investigated 28 motor vehicle crashes. Hopefully, as I usually say, not at our favorite intersection.
They're all over.
This is a good one, National Night Out. I hope you'll all participate. It's going to be held on Tuesday, August 4th, 2015, from 6 to 9 o'clock at the Huntington Firehouse and the Huntington Playground. Everyone is invited to attend, so tell your neighbors and anybody else who's in the township. We will have music, games, food, and rides. The New Jersey State Police will also do a helicopter landing. Cool. Is there a specific time for that?
We're not sure.
Okay. Bring the family. You'll put it on the website.
Well, they just show up.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, they can get in there.
So bring the family for a fun night out and get to know the people in our community. So, anything else that I had on my mind, it's like, I don't know, I think I'm brain dead tonight. I will pass to Sal.
There's a lot of garbage on Welch Boulevard. What the business establishment has done, they operate their business and they throw it right out the window. There's a big pile of garbage, must be 8 to 10 feet high.
Sal, is it garbage, household garbage? I can report it to Warren County Health Department.
On Foch?
Yeah.
Come in tomorrow and let me know who it is.
Where did the
The
paved over?
zoning officer and I will go up there next Tuesday. And we're going to look over the situation at 5 o'clock.
Sal, you've been in contact with the person who's doing this, or this is?
No, I didn't contact him, but I wanted the zoning officer there with me. And so next Tuesday, we'll be there.
You're going to give them a chance to remediate the situation before you
Yeah.
impose a fine? Okay.
Try and straighten this out diplomatically.
I heard that Joe continues to do a great job at doing that diplomatically, solving these problems, working with you. So good.
Thank you. Grass all over the township. We've been cutting grass all over the township, and it's difficult to, to get them all. I missed some, but I'm trying.
Sal, and these are all ones that we put liens against the properties then afterwards for the amount that we're spending, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
very good. Very good. On August the 15th, we will start the road from Finesville up to Quick Check. That road will be done.
519?
Yes, and 627.
They have signs up.
Okay. That's for the people, don't know. The dam will come out in Finesville, and a diver will be there. They'll start taking measurements on the depth of the water in Finesville.
Well, the dam is already gone in Finesville.
You mean the Warren Glen Dam, right?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
The Warren Glen Mill. That dam will be coming out, and there'll be a diver in there Thursday, taking all types of measurements and so forth. Okay, the signs for the municipal court. I was going to talk to the police chief about it. The location of these signs, and then if it's all right with you people, the police chief and I will look the situation over. We have the signs here already. Greenwich Municipal Court. Okay?
I saw they took the one down on the highway off of 78.
Directional signs?
Yeah, they used to have one that said court this way, so they took that down.
Okay, so Tuesday, I will, the zoning officer and I at 5 o'clock will be looking over some of these spots here in the township. Is it all right with you first?
With the zoning officer?
Yeah, to put up the signs, green,
Absolutely. People have to
okay,
know how to get here.
all right. We're having, well, you know about it, we're having one policeman retire, right, chief?
Yes.
I don't I haven't
I
said
don't,
anything.
I don't have a hard and fast date, but
Until things actually progress and everything, I'm not saying
They
anything.
haven't,
No.
Because it's
Progressed
not,
yet?
it's not, yeah, it hasn't happened.
could be in the next couple of days. We're just waiting on the state.
Yeah, we're waiting on this. Actually, that's something I would talk about. That's my-
okay,
Well,
so
those I just say.
already, I thought it was settled. Okay, Gwen.
Gwen's going.
Gwen's gone, Sal.
Gee, cricket.
How do you spell that?
You know, Coach Boulevard, I would much rather see the curbing put in and the drainage instead of doing the road.
Sal, I talked to Gwen about that, and I told her of your preference, because she said that's what requires so much more engineering and much more money than we had, so we're just using what we have from the grant. Doing the drainage and the curbing, that's what
It's a lot
takes up
more.
all the, that's the big expensive part of it.
Okay. Let's see. I want you to pick up some of these papers. You know, we always complaining about our taxes, and they are high. In Jersey City, the mayor, he has a $775,000 home, and he pays $7,000 in taxes. Here in Powhatan, I pay $7,000 for one bathroom. It's just not fair. It's just not fair what they're doing to us. Who's getting all this money is Camden, Newark, and it's just not right. So if you would pick up these papers, take them home, pass them out to your neighbors, just to show everybody what they're doing to us. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Sal. Before I give my report, I just want to say, just in response to what Frank just said, I don't think I think all of us up here generally, I think 95% of the time agree, and I think we're probably going to continue to disagree on that 5%, but I think what Frank has done for all of us about at least being honest with our spending and at least always double checking things, I think is absolutely irreplaceable. And I just want to thank you for that, Frank. I truly mean that.
Thank you. You know what they say about indispensable people? Graveyards are full of them. And there's lots of talent in this town.
Oh, it's going to be really tough. But I guess to piggyback on Frank about the email, basically what we have right now is we have a server that is doesn't have an adequate amount of capacity for the emails we're sending. So when, for example, the police department or we're sending these large files and we have to keep them on our server, I think that's part of our problem as far as what we're able to keep in the email. So we're getting a lot of bounce backs. I think that's part of the problem. So Lorraine was just able to get Jeff. Is it Jeff? Okay, Jeff Jewell to send this over, and you can see there's unlimited amounts of data, which will allow our police not to have to back it up. And like, for example, if the police department sends one dash cam video, it's so many gigabytes that that'll clog up our email. So this may be the solution to a lot of our email problems. I would just like to, I think, Lorraine, if I could, I'm just going to email him a couple questions off of these different proposals that he has and just try to figure, I think between, though, I mean, they are significantly more expensive, but as Frank said, you pay for what you get as far as.
Well, how much are they? Are they over the quote threshold? Do we have to get some additional quotes?
What's the quote threshold?
1,600.
Yeah, they're under. They're under. I still would potentially like to, but it is nice that he is local for that, so that is definitely nice. But as we move further, down the line, and we have more different types of information sharing, it's going to be more important that we have as much capacity as possible. So definitely this is the direction we want to be going in, and I will follow up with Jeff before next meeting. Also, this past weekend, we did do the Shimer Manor House. I went in there. It was, and I actually never broke into it when I was younger, so I had never been in. It's true. I had never been in it, and I will say that it was really neat. There were they volunteers did a lot of work as far as cleaning it up in those 2 days, and I think it's definitely going to be restorable. There were, I don't know if anyone's ever seen cave crickets before, but it was infested with cave crickets and like hundreds of these guys. It was horrifying. But
Those little things that
no, they're not little. They're like chicken wings. Like if you were to break they are large bugs in Shimer Manor. Like you don't expect.
I've been in Shimer Manor. That's why I don't remember seeing them hopping around in there.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Was that 301?
No, the Manor, the Shimer Manor house. And we saw you parked you were at the dry cleaner on Saturday.
I didn't see it.
We saw you. Another thing that we're working on doing is I had an individual reach out to me who his children are involved with the Rec Association, and he's also a chiropractor up at Club Metro. And one of the things that he wanted to do was have a health fair, start an annual health fair within the community. He has a lot of vendors that are interested in coming in, and he wants to go over different eating habits and other types of local exercise programs that exist. I reached out to Diane Mandry just to start to see if we could potentially use that as a location. She said we'd definitely be interested in doing that. So we're going to probably have a dialogue about setting something like that up by the end of the year. So it'll just be a good way to get the community together and see what different types of resources are available out there for folks. We have on our agenda, after long back and forth, probably about, I want to say it's been almost a year and a half probably since the ideas have been like floating up here about the call volume about Walmart. So that should be interesting to see how that gets implemented and see how, if at all, that works. I'm sure many of you saw the Starbucks is moving along. I read on Lehigh Valley Live that they said they're going to be open by the end of August. I take Lehigh Valley Live with a grain of salt for their accuracy, but I think it'll probably be done by the end of the year with how quick that is moving forward. on that. One more thing, this happened last year at this time, the Street Devils program that the Recreation Association runs every summer. We'll have the New Jersey Devils are coming up to Pohatcong this Friday, so they'll have the mascot up there for the kids, and a couple former players will be there signing autographs. So that's a nice event that a lot of the kids from Pohat and kids from Greenwich, Lopat, and Alpha all play. So that'll be up. So we actually probably should get somebody up there for that.
It's
And then-
Friday coming up.
It's this Friday. I'll get you
So it'd be the 24th.
the 24th, yeah. And I believe it's at 6 that they'll be up there. So that'll be, they're going to be up at Crestwood Field.
Oh, Crestwood.
You were there last year, remember?
What do I get? I want
You want a-
extra large jersey.
You want a jersey?
Yeah, extra large.
Sal number 1?
No, Sal the fat
Oh. And then the last thing I just would like for us to do is to make for the onto the motions, we should set up a subcommittee for mediation for the railroad to have
I
two.
just mentioned that to Dave.
We have to set up a subcommittee to do that. I don't know, is this during normal business hours?
Yeah, I mean, I was just discussing with Dave. Dave's been up at the CADB with this thing and pretty familiar. So I would say Dave at a minimum would be one. But he could either have a committee of one, and I could go up with Dave because they're going to bring an attorney, or you can have one other person if you'd like, as long as we don't have a quorum.
Well, I was gonna go.
Okay.
You want to
great.
go? Okay,
Perfect.
all right.
We don't have any dates yet or anything, Mary,
No.
but I'll let them know that we have our little subcommittee set up. And also, if you want, and it's up to you guys, might not be a bad idea to have Gwen along in case any site distance issues or like engineering type issues come up.
And I think Joe too, Rossi.
Okay.
Just if you have everybody there, that way there's everyone has, if there's any questions, there can be a constant dialogue with questions being answered.
Just have Joe instead of Glenn, you suppose, or not?
Yeah, you could probably get away,
Gwen
yeah.
had the site distance stuff, but we'll see. I'll find out. If they're going to bring an engineer, we will. If not, we won't. Okay.
I guess we need to be prepared, but I don't think that there's issues that can't be.
I had already sent them, guys, I sent their attorney, I said, look, I said, I don't think mediation is a bad idea, I think it's a resolvable issue, but I said it would help if you at least got us a little bit of a, sketch plat showing, the improvements, showing some site, this is just something that we could work off of, instead of.
Like I said, I think there's more zoning issues involved than anything else.
Well, you want to make sure any structures have been inspected by our building department. You want to make sure that there's adequate site distances along that road, River Road there, maybe some signage, but I don't know if they're going to do that for us or not, but if they do, that would be something that Glenn could take a look at. If not, I guess we don't need it. So, okay, I'll let them know that's our committee. I don't think we get a motion on that.
No, I don't think so. If there's a consent, that's fine. All right, so moving on, these, anyone have any issue taking all these
Well,
resolutions?
the last one, do we have anything there we still need to?
I think we're
resolve
gonna
in
meet,
Executive session?
yeah. Mhm.
So I would not do that one yet.
Well, no, this is just ratifying it. It's not appointing anyone.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just approving the interlocal
That's
agreement.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, you may want, your decision to approve it may be dependent upon what happens in executive session.
Well, there might
Okay.
be something that comes up, exactly.
Okay, so we'll hold that. All right,
I mean, maybe there won't be, but I'd rather not approve something until
That-
everything's resolved.
fair point. Okay, so anyone have any issues taking these together?
So I move that we adopt all the other resolutions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Second.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Slack,
Yes.
Van Hoop,
Yes.
Vangelli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay, ordinance, all right, let's, real quick, let's,
We have 3 that are first reading. So,
before we move them, the one with, for 1508, Is everyone satisfied with those numbers, or is, I'm kind of inclined to go down, bring call volume down to 10 and 1, 10 to 1.
I mean, if it's doesn't affect anything, if it's already at 15, we should bring it lower.
Lower, exactly, because that doesn't hit our problem.
Help anything.
Yeah,
Right, we'd be defeating the purpose.
so go down to 10 to 1.
Yeah.
And actually, and then from the fine, you go to 250 to 500,
Yes.
So the fine is increased from 50 to
500.
Number 10 is going, 15 is going to 10 and 2 is going to 1.
So cut in half and then double.
And also on the ordinances, I would change the 220. We had a discussion with Gwen. The 15-07, since the bid came in only at 152. I
Yeah,
think we're fine with the 185. The whole purpose was to live within the
Yep.
grant. So I'd
Right,
change
what
that
the-
to 185.
What the state was going to give us.
Right.
yeah, that's a good idea.
So we're changing that one to 185.
Yes.
And 1506, everything is municipal, right, Wanda?
Yes.
We're good?
How do you
Okay.
feel about 10?
I'd have to read the entire thing. I just glanced over it.
All
But
right, let's just
10.
introduction.
yeah.
Okay, so with those changes, is there a motion?
I move that we introduce 1506, 1507, and 1508 with the changes, or the change that was made to 15, oh, no, changes made to 07 and 08.
Okay.
Harry, explain this to me. Police service reimbursement.
Right. Did you get a copy of that? In the mailbox?
This is the one, Sal, where if there's excessive shoplifting calls in any given month by one of the businesses, and they don't, or they don't show up and prosecute complaints, you know, we have issues where we spend police resources, go up there, take a complaint, and then they don't take the time to send the manager down here to testify. We would provide them with a service charge.
Did you get a copy of that?
Yeah, he got it.
So that's a first reading on that
It
ordinance.
should be in your pile.
All right.
So that's what that's about, Sal.
All right, thank you.
Did you call the roll on that one? I'm
I
sorry.
don't know who's the second, I'm sorry.
Okay, who's their
I
motion?
introduced it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van Loo?
Yes.
Angeli?
Yes,
Kern?
Yes.
And then that'll be second reading for our August 18th.
Yes.
Not that.
Thank you. All right. Do we mind taking these both for public hearing at the same time, 1504 and 1505?
I move, excuse me again. I move that we have 1504 and 1505 open for public hearing, public comment.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's no wall.
Is there any public comment on 1504, 1505? Seeing none, motion to close and
I move that we
adopt.
close public comment on 1504 and 1505 and adopt these ordinances.
Second.
Okay. Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van Loo?
Yes.
Angeli?
wait a minute, 1505,
That's what.
transit merchant.
Yeah, that's the one.
What that doing, Sal, is Mary had a good idea when we last discussed that. That was to create a list that residents can sign up for that they don't want to be bothered by transient merchants.
So do not
basically,
call.
it's basically a do not
not
disturb
stop.
list.
All right,
And it does exempt, you know, religious, charitable, political organizations, so we comply with the First Amendment.
yes,
And Kern.
Yes. Okay. That was yours too, Sal. Does anyone have an issue taking all these motions together?
There's some other stuff that's not included. There's some, excuse me a sec. There's some additions I think I'd like to suggest.
Yeah.
One is, we talked about that TCI, if we approve that, maybe we should do that after executive. Are we going to talk about TCI after executive? Okay. The other thing is, I think we talked last meeting about providing sort of shared services for the purchasing function, essentially Susan Shire's job. I spoke with Lopat today. I think they would be interested in participating in that, and they would be comfortable, I should say, I just spoke with one member, but I think there would be interest there, and there would be interest in Greenwich in that kind of service. So I'd like to be able to pursue that with Greenwich and Lopat to see if they would sign on with us.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I was wondering,
Spending money, so technically you probably don't. need
You're
a
just
motion.
investigating, and it's
Okay.
something that comes
Authorize
under
that,
you.
yeah.
well, yeah, okay. I was questioning whether we should set up two of us, but I don't care. I can go talk to them, or two of us can. I don't care. Either way.
If it's certain times, I might be able to do it, Frank, but if not, I'm cool with whomever.
All right. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
All right. And if we don't need a motion, I'm fine with that.
All right.
Do we have the money for this?
This is,
What?
we wouldn't do it unless it saved us money.
Yeah, that's to save money.
All right, I move that we adopt these, I think it's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 motions.
Are we adding the one for the subcommittee for Mary and Dave to be the mediation team? Or you don't need to?
We don't need to. We've already designated that too. If you want to just reflect that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, make your motion. You can
Make it a motion?
Yeah, for that one,
All
let's
right,
do.
so now we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
9
good point.
motions.
Okay, so we have 9 motions? Okay.
Now we have 9.
Mary's moving them?
I move it.
Second.
Okay, Becker?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes.
Van Root? Yes. Angeli? Angeli?
I want to go over this again for the Still Valley Stone Arch. Do we have the money for this?
Yes, we do.
We do?
Yeah, Lorraine certified we have the funds.
Okay.
Yes, Al, or nay?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mayor Kern.
Yes. 15, I believe this is,
Do we want to go back to that motion? We have one extra motion on the authorization that settlement of litigation.
yeah.
You want me to take-
Yep.
Take that point. We had a brief executive session earlier. The topic was limited to the meeting with our insurance defense counsel on the litigation with our township clerk, and there was a settlement proposal that's been going back and forth, and our insurance defense counsel has recommended that we accept the last permutation of the settlement, which basically we would be denying any wrongdoing, but nevertheless settling the case, restoring certain vacation, sick time, and hours of work that have been agreed to, and reimbursing for attorney's fees, and also paying, also doing comp time. So this would settle all claims if there's 3 votes to approve the settlement, and most of the monetary compensation, 80% will be being picked up by our insurance company, and the settlement figure is something just shy, I think, at this point of 40,000 total, most of which is attorney's fees. That's the gist of the settlement, and we need a motion authorizing the mayor and clerk, the mayor and deputy clerk.
I'll move it.
We can have a motion, second, and then discussion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? We're done at this point. If not, then-
I would like to say something about that. Do you want me to say it when I vote or now?
I would say do it during discussion.
Okay. I'm going to vote no for this. When we settle lawsuits, regardless of the merit of the lawsuit, we encourage future meritless lawsuits. We have many lawsuits in this town. Well, at least a few outstanding lawsuits, Eco Action Initiative. I mean, some of these lawsuits I think are just ridiculous. We have 2 lawsuits by people involved in an accident, which are ridiculous. Everybody's getting sued except for the driver of the vehicle. When you settle lawsuits regardless of merit, you're going to get meritless lawsuits in the future. And it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us now, or it's going to cost us more later.
Any other comment?
I don't think there's any conflict, you call and roll.
Hey. Becker,
No.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Although I do agree with what you said, Brad. That is true.
Okay. Motions, appointments. This, I believe, is just a housekeeping measure to move a position around to make Sharon a member. I think it was vacant, so we're just cleaning that up. So she'll be appointed to the unexpired term, so she'll be a voting member of that board.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, it's a little, exactly. Yeah, which is, okay, so that being said, is there any public comment, any general public comment? Yes, sir.
Enrique Hernandez, 301 River Road. Say that I am very disappointed, Frank, that you've decided not to run for re-election, but obviously you've made a public announcement and I assume your decision is irreversible. I would ask you to then participate on this side of the room going forward.
I'm used to both sides.
Well, welcome to this side.
Sometimes I felt more effective on the other side.
Well, glad to hear that. That gives me at least a little bit of optimism that you will continue to have positive input on how the town is managed. So I want to thank you publicly for the work that you've done. As you know, I wrote a letter to the editor saying that you had the toughest job of all, which is to be the anti-Santa Claus. You know, it's easy to sit there and give away things. Oh, people work hard. Let's give them a 2% raise. Oh, they're so nice. Let's do this thing for them. But to be the disciplinarian that says no or to take away, that's a tough job. And that's unfortunately something that we're going to miss sorely by your party. So thank you for the service you've done.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
I'd like also to thank Frank for his time here on council. He's going to be missed, the residents of the town, I'm sure by many of this town. He leaves some big footprints to fill. I don't think this town's had anyone quite like Frank. That's I'd like to say he says what he means and means what he says. I mean, just like the last vote. He tells it the way it is, the way he feels it should be, and he's looking out for everyone when he says something. Very few people can do that. But Frank manages to do that, and you certainly don't win no popularity contest from it. But he looked beyond that. And I'd like to thank him for that. And he's going to be missed. The town is going to suffer with not having someone like Frank seated there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Dominic Agesta, 65 Mountain Road. I too agree with the two previous comments. I'm disappointed that Frank is not going to run for reelection. I've always had a lot of faith and confidence in Frank. I know that you're not going to get everybody to agree with you 100% of the time, but I know that it certainly brought a lot of discussion and issues to the forefront that needed discussion, and I appreciate all the work that you did for us, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Jerry.
Any other public comment? Right, seeing none, we need a,
I move we go
Another
into executive session to
uh,
discuss
litig,
The TCI
litigation and also, I guess we can say negotiations.
yeah.
Greenwich, yeah, contract
Yep.
negotiations.
And maybe potential litigation.
Yes. So do I have a motion for that?
I move.
Okay, you did.
Second.
Okay. I say Becker,
Yes?
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo, yes, Angeli,
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Should be about 45 minutes. Action may or may not be taken.
Executive session?
Second?
all in favor?
Okay, I move that I do believe it's the mayor and clerk have to sign the TCI settlement agreement.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, and Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes. You want to do
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Okay, and then, as soon as I find it. Okay, I move that we ratify the adopted shared services agreement for shared municipal court between Township of Greenwich and Township of Cohasset.
Second?
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo, yes, Angeli,
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Official.
Anything else?
No, I mean, we did have a discussion on the DPW contract. And, we gave guidance to our subcommittee. No action other beyond that's being taken tonight. And I think that was the only other thing.
And if there's nothing else, I move we adjourn.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Not too
10:20.
bad, David. Did you text her?
Here.
Yeah, she's already waiting.
Okay.
All right.